watching Fox Sports.
Thank you, Peter. Good evening, everybody. The Sydney Cricket Ground and the Rabbits versus the Tigers. Foundation clubs, 1908, and haven't some great players worn the colours of both. Mark McGaw tonight doesn't get that chance, neither does Shane Wilson, as South Sydney undergoes some changes. Trindle, Talley, Penner, Sinclair, Mellor, Bell, Field, Goldspink. Skiffeletti is playing, carrying injury, I'm told. Hermanson, Mestrov, Doniger and Smith. Skiffeletti, the number 9, and Doniger, this big second rower. Here they are, the Tigers. Back from the south, back from a beating. They've got to get it on the rails. Tonight just might be the night. Gillette, Lyons, Brasher, Burke, Ford, Robinson, Neal, Darcy, Ben Elias, Edmed, Sirinen, John Elias, Matt Munro, and a coach with a lot of worries, Wayne Pearce, in his inaugural year. Well, let's go down to the sideline and welcome Steve Roach in. And Steve, what do you think is the main thing that Wayne Pearce has been saying during the week?
Well, Wayne Pearce hasn't been real happy with their enthusiasm during the week, and especially the defence. Expect a big improvement this week. One person that he is very happy with is John Elias. He's been in fine form for the Balmain Tigers. Paul Sirinen, I know that he has a back injury. He should be back to his best this week, especially with State of Origin coming up.
And South Sydney, of course, the club that you're with now, seems strange talking to you about South Sydney when in fact they're up against your club, Balmain.
Yeah, well, Kenny Shine saying that they've had a couple of near misses this season. A lucky win last week against Cronulla. Come on, fellas, let's get on a roll. Incidentally, Balmain have won the toss and are running away from the scoreboard.
No mixed feelings?
Yes, there is a bit, Ray, but mate, I'm a Rabbit now, so I've got to hang in with them.
There's nothing wrong with being a Rabbit. Thank you, Steve. We'll get back to you during the match. Souths from left to right then, at what a lot of people still call rugby league headquarters, the Sydney Cricket Ground. Trindle's deep kick-off. Brasher goes back. Heavy stuff in there from the red and greens. Ben Elias, a little step out from dummy half, and then the big fella, the captain, Paul Sirinen. Penalty goes to Balmain. David Manson's the man in charge. Sirinen looks like he's been through the mincer.
And Jason Sinclair, the man up against his old club, throws a little right there. Bit of aggression in the tackle on Siro.
So Sirinen drawing the penalty. Graham Lyons put down 40 metres out from the line. Edmed. Across the halfway line, and that's Darcy. Bad play the ball. John Elias. Rejuvenated career, really, for John. He's had plenty of turbulence and controversy following him. Elias got under Tyron Smith. 15 out from the line. Spun away. Michael Neal away. Will Robinson brought down. And that's the turnover.
And a very poor option there. Not getting the kick in and really not putting any pressure on the defence. The two things that you must know about Ben Elias' game is that he will duck. As Balmain get a penalty here, the natives are restless. Been pretty physical and aggressive this opening couple of minutes, and it's come to a head here with a swinging arm and some strong defence.
Well, Big Sero didn't like the way that this particular South player come in with his elbow. He lifts the elbow. I think it's Hermanson.
Oh,
that's a bit dicey there, and Sero didn't like it through the back end.
We had every right not to like that.
Well, let's be fair, Dinkin. Jason Croker got sent off last weekend for something
much worse. That was much worse, what I'm saying. You're right.
Anyway,
Sorry,
he was
Jason.
exonerated. But that was a much more dangerous incident than what Jason Croker was involved in. Hermanson met by the Balmain defence. Mestrov. Tony Mestrov, 42 metres out from the line. Tyron Smith ran the decoy, and this is Goldspink. Away for Craig Field, and they're going wide to the left. Sinclair against his old club tonight, and he's hurt. Jason Bell. Last now for Souths. They work on a wide blind for Tyron Smith. It's a towering bomb. Well taken at the back by Gillette. I think I put the C alongside Paul Serenen's name, but of course it is with Ben Elias. Sinclair gets attention. Neil pushes it along the line for John Elias to cross the 20. Ben Elias now. Edmed.
And the Sinclair is still down, Ray. The comment I was making about Elias before. Little melee down that. Oh, there's a high shot. Will Robinson. Elias will duck and he will rake for the ball in tackles. South players must be aware of that.
Talking of Elias, from first receiver, getting a kick in. Trindle. Good kick and chase by Balmain. Taliai. And Sinclair is not well. He's leaving the field. Hermanson. Skiffaletti.
Might have been the worst thing that South Sydney did was getting Big Ciro stirred up. He's had a blinder for a start out there, getting involved in everything.
The last now. Field. Matt Munro with a spectacular attempt to charge down. Oh! Gillette goes to ground. Manson says, I saw it, play on, it's all right.
Yeah, rightly he signalled that it was the jersey, the collar of the jersey that was collected. Good decision, play on, play over halfway.
Damien Ford in the centre of the ground. Darcy. Elias picking it up with one hand and scampering away before Michael Neal and John Elias, and now Darcy. 33 metres away from the south line. Corcoran goes on for Sinclair. Neal and Robinson put the run around together. This should be a penalty, is it? I thought an obstruction. This is the last. Elias to the air. Mellors underneath it and comes down with it. And it's a penalty.
We heard one of the South Sydney players yelling out, they're all off, sir, and they were. David Manson picked that. Balmain have started the game fairly well. They've had South under some deal of pressure early in the match.
On the sideline, Steve Roach.
Sides going at this game at Hammer and Tong. It'll be the first side that settles down. It'll take the ascendancy in this game, I'm sure.
Craig Field now taking the penalty for South Sydney. Tap will be taken 35 metres out from the Rabbits line. Goldspink. I've seen him take it up with more gusto than that. Doniger looking to slide a pass. Skiffaletti. Field. Hermanson. Running on the edge of the ruck. Skiffaletti again for Trindle. And Penner gets it back inside for Trindle. Inside the 20. Turns it inside. But Balmain come away with it. Damien Ford.
Some very classy stuff there from South as Balmain 10 metres out from their own line. Beautiful pass to David Penner. He brushed through some weak defence. Got a great ball back inside to Trindle backing up. And Damien Ford, who missed the tackle, got up off the ground and took the intercept. So he made up for the mistake.
That's where they're at. Jason Bell in a confrontation with Paul Serenen off the ball. Now, Edmed's nose is bleeding. This will probably be the blood bin for him. He had it broken last weekend. He took a high shot, I think it was from Terry Madison. So Edmed ordered to the blood bin. Not happy about it. MLC, the mobile phone people, the sponsors of Balmain. Lower grades here today, earlier, much earlier. 12-7, the President's Cup to Balmain. And reserve grade also to the Tigers, 12-6. Michael Neal. And it finds the line just inside the 30-metre zone of South Sydney. And as I said, 1908 saw them join the league. And they've played 171 times since that time. The cricket ground statistic is interesting, with Balmain holding the better of it by just one. South have won 20 premierships, Balmain 11. And many of the old faces were here tonight. Paul Mellor on the 30-metre line. Craig Field in a dummy half. Tyron Smith with that right thigh heavily bandaged. Skivoletti. Hermanson. This is where they get a lot of drive from, South Sydney. That was Mestrov, but not Hermanson. Doniger. Craig Field waiting the kick. It gets close to the sideline. Gillette goes back. Field put everybody on side. He ran straight down the ground and then made the tackle.
They do get very good drives, South Sydney, from those forwards. You're talking about Hermanson, Doniger, Goldsmith. But backing them up is very good link players in the form of Craig Field. Darryl Trindle comes up from fullback. Trindle also gets on the other side of the ruck, which gives him two options. As Elias again ducks under some tackles, makes an extra 10 metres.
Big start to the game for a couple of the illustrious names in the Balmain ranks, Ben Elias and Paul Seranen. And here's another one of the big names, Tim Brasher. That ball went forward.
Went forward, but Elias knocked it on the end.
So the score, 0-0 after 10 minutes in Friday night football. Back at the Sydney Cricket Ground with South and Balmain, and Craig Field's pass went forward. It's play on, says the referee, and Graham Lyons has gone over the sideline.
You can't do that. Well, Craig Field did all the hard work. He got through the gap, showed the speed, ran away from Munro, then threw this ordinary pass, which Miller couldn't handle. Graham Lyons picked it up. He was looking 70 yards away for a try, but ran straight to touch. So South will get the ball back from the scrum.
And immediately they work it across the park. They use the run around to create the extras. Corcoran, who had that big game at Gunnedah in the challenge, is on for Jason Sinclair. Talliai, just outside the 20-metre line. Doniger, driven into the ground, good heavy stuff. Field conducting the orchestra. Brett Goldspink. Bernard Carroll is on for Balmain. Ben Elias again. Long run. Quick play the ball by Ben. That's Greg Burke.
Yeah, Elias has been under some pressure this year with some other people like Sidaris and McCormack looking for his City jumper, which will be chosen on Sunday night. But I think a fair bet would be that Benny, after an ordinary start to the season, has come good the last few weeks and will make the side as hooker.
Seranen held by Tyron Smith and Jason Bell. They've got it to the halfway. John Elias chimes in, puts in a little step onto his work. And that's Bernard Carroll. Last tackle gone, 35 out to the air. No, Michael Neal pushes it through the hands. Gillette's in the back line. Brasher's there with the ball. Shows it before floating it. Recklessly wide for Neal. And inside for Ford. They got a kick in. It wasn't a good one. Trindle has picked off in defence.
There's plenty of action out there. Here's another pass going astray. You must be critical of the Balmain outside men. On that occasion, they were looking to run the ball on the 5th. They weren't deep enough, and Gillette would have thrown a forward pass if he released the football. Great attacking option the last tackle, but they nullified it themselves.
We're just inside the South Sydney 40-metre line. And Tyron Smith, this rangy young lock forward. Good, strong performance by Goldspink. What's the report on Jason Sinclair, Steve?
Yes, not all that bad for Jason Sinclair. He has a cork knee. He should be back out later on.
Schifoletti making a rare mistake. And Balmain are back with it. Inside their own 40-metre line. Sirenen is put down. This is what Dean was guilty of. He tried to be a little bit flash, and his kicking leg was harnessed by Ben Elias. Carroll just on the Balmain side of halfway. Darcy. Ah, good ball. Robinson. Brasher turns it back. Michael Neal gets it away. Burke is tackled 18 out from the line. Elias for Neal. Balmain on the attack. Robinson for Gillette. He gets inside. That's a try. Gillette gets the try for the black and golds.
And they're carving them up here tonight, the Tigers. The big run from Brasher a couple of minutes ago set the scene for this, and Gillette had an unhappy game last week, but really great try there. Lovely ball from Darcy, and Robinson drifted across the field, and the South defence didn't come back up on the inside, and Brasher set it up. And some good hands there by the Balmain players. In the end, a simple play, just a short ball from Robinson. Plenty of South defence there, but just didn't handle it. Look at that short ball. There's half a dozen of the blokes there. They just missed him.
There's some pretty ordinary defence there. Great hands from Michael Neal in the play before. And that's the kind of play that we're talking about from South Sydney, getting the link play going. Balmain did it remarkably well on that occasion.
Greg Burke from right in front. So Balmain get first points. 6-0 over South after 15 in Friday Night Rugby League. Back at the Sydney Cricket Ground, thanks for joining us. Good news for Balmain supporters, and there are plenty of you around Australia. 6-0, a try to this young man, Michael Gillette, converted by Greg Burke. And now the Tigers, Wayne Pearce will be hoping they keep it up. They keep it up. They've been probing and they've reaped the reward.
And it has been a good start for the Balmain fullback, Michael Gillette. He's had a couple of ordinary weeks, especially defensively, but so have many other players against the likes of Steve Renouf. But Pearce has chosen to stick with him, and it's been rewarded with a good 15 minutes and the first try on the board. John
Elias now. Jason Sinclair is back on the field. Steve Roach.
Yeah, great to see Jason back on the field, but he's the player who replaced Jamie Corcoran was the one who didn't cover in defence, the one who missed the tackle for the try.
Yeah, I got that impression. Maybe Corcoran went up out of the line and he created the gap that Michael Gillette eventually went through. This is Talley just outside his own 20-metre line. Craig Field using Darryl Trindle, and along for Paul Mellor coming in closer to the ruck. He's big enough and strong enough to get to dummy half in this situation and take it out. Sinclair was put away by Darcy. He went high. Hermanson. Oh, that's good football. Balmain fell off in defence, though. Craig Field across now for Paul Mellor. And eventually he's put away just over the halfway line. South keep it going now. Jason Bell ran into a dead end. Turned it back for Darryl Trindle. Michael Neal doing a ton of tackling in the centre with Matt Munro. Field. Graham Lyons tempted. And inside the 10 metres against South Sydney.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision. I think you'll find that the players were actually in front of the kicker on that occasion. Graham Lyons, knowing he was close to the sideline, made sure that he wasn't going to go over again. Well, they might have just been onside there.
It's a shandy of a voluntary tackle, really,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Well, it's a good battle, this wing battle on this side of the field. Paul Mellor did a great job there a minute ago. Realised that he didn't have the speed to get around Lyons. He came back in field and avoided going over the sideline. And Lyons, I think, a former State of Origin player.
Graham Lyons, who's had a topsy-turvy start to the game. Will Robinson showing it and running across the park. He almost ran over the sideline. He thought the best thing I can do is go to ground. John Elias is lucky that right over the top didn't connect from Goldspink. Neil turning it. Picked up with no knock on, Ben Elias. Robinson working on a narrow blind side, and Trindle is there to read the play. He beats Graham Lyons and then comes back down the park with a dazzling run. Field is outside the 30. Almost to the halfway line.
Ah, lovely piece of play there by Tricky Trindle at fullback. Took the ball on the run and then set up the play for South Sydney. They're back on the halfway mark.
That's 6 more. Mellor. 6-0 in favour of Balmain. Mestral. 19 gone. Jason Bell winces with pain. Brescia was the tackler. Doniger slammed away by the Tigers' defence. But Souths are just outside the 20-metre line now. They go back to go forward. Tenner takes a chance. Balmain's ball. Burke.
Well, those are the kind of passes, if they stick, you look like a genius. They come undone as they did on that instance there. It's a cheap handover in possession. If a Balmain player could have picked up on the fly, there was open spaces. Elias again making good ground from dummy half. Got a quick play the ball. That's enabled Jason Darcy to make some more good yards. Get it out shortly, Rabs.
You're going fine.
Oh, he's going terrific.
I was waiting for you to have your tuppence worth of him. Neil. Trindle's got a long run, but he's very fast. Good work by Darryl Trindle. Back inside their 20-metre line. Taliai. Doniger. Sheridan took him.
How good's he going, Sarah? He knows the rep game is just around the corner.
Terry Hermanson. Binga. That was spot on target. Loose ball, chance for Balmain. Brescia's pass, out with Graham Lyons. Back near the halfway line. John Elias. It's not a great deal of power runs by the Balmain forwards. There seems to be more of an inclination to take it softly and then look for somebody to put through a gap. Neil. Darcy out wider. South Sydney knows they're up against a pack of forwards that has got a few old hard heads in it. Neil's pass picked up by John Elias. He's one of the blokes I'm referring to. Of course, Sirenen and Elias. It's a very young South Sydney pack by comparison. Elias's kick rolling around. Trindle, Taliai could be in trouble here. Yes. Damien Ford makes the tackle. Michael Neal gives him a pat on the back.
Yeah, so he should too. Great chase there by Ford. I don't know how many first-grade games he's played. This could even be his debut. But fantastic chase. It's his second first-grade game. That's a great effort. Debut, isn't it? Or debut? Or...
Almost thought that Taliai could have just taken an extra second there to see if the ball was going to go over. It's a good drop out, 45 metres on the fly, but it was high as well. It enables the chasing team to meet Gillette 30 metres out.
Gillette scored the try for Balmain. That's Munro. Former product of St Gregory's Campbelltown, but he's lost the ball. It's a knock-on against young Matt Munro, and he's not happy with himself. Did he get any help? Not really. Seems to be some problem with the ball. Craig Field booting it off the ground, and one of the ball boys takes it over to Eric Cox, who's in charge of on-field matters. Darryl Trindle, Craig Field, Jeremy Doniger. 30 metres out now from the south line. Mestrov. Souths have made 5 points in the Winfield Cup from a possible 14. That's where they are, 11th, and Balmain down in 13th. Ball made to do the work. That's Trindle. Halfway line. Last tackle. Field. Gillette kept busy at the back. This match last year was billed as a back-to-the-future game. It was a great success on a Sunday afternoon, and Balmain got home in a nail-biter. 1918, here's Graham Lyons now. 45 out from the line. Ben Elias, quick play the ball. John Elias running close to the ruck. He's been probably the most consistent of the Balmain forwards. Serenin. And John Elias puts it down.
Well, a good break made by Graham Lyons set this forward charge up, and Elias reaching for the ball, probably one he should have caught. No marker there for Graham Lyons, and he picked up a good 30 or 40 metres. Both sides really must stress the importance of good marker play, because there is good dummy half runners in both sides, especially Elias and Skiffaliti.
Sinclair's got himself injured again. I think he's going to get up. Yes, he has. He actually tripped over the legs of his own teammate in a play that went horribly wrong for Jason Sinclair. Hermanson bottled up by John Elias. 10 metres short of halfway. Mestrov. Skiffaliti. Using Goldspink to hammer it over the halfway. Dean, it was well documented, was carrying injury. Sinclair does well, throws the dummy, goes back infield. The Rabbits are going to score. Jason Bell. Jason Bell. He puts it down for the Rabbits. 6-4.
Well, there was some order in defence out wide, wasn't there, by Balmain? That allowed the space there. They just didn't handle it out there, Balmain. A couple of dummies taken. Sinclair showed the speed. He's showing the talent we know he's got. And Jason Bell had too much speed for Neil.
And we made mention of the fact that the last tackle is a great time to attack. And this was an example of it. Beautiful pass from Craig Field outside Brasher. You must play what's in front of you. And they didn't do that with Jason Sinclair. They fell for the dummy. And he did position Bell very nicely, but this is the pass that set it up from Craig Field. So he frees it there. That's the pass. It's caught Tim Brasher out. He's had to come across and try and cover. Look how far Graham Lyons is back. That's the last tackle. That's why it's good to play, and that's why the try was set up.
So the try of the Jasons. Jason Sinclair and Jason Bell. Former Parramatta player, Jason Bell. Deputy to the great Peter Sterling. Went to the Bears, and now with the Rabbits. Craig Field, right in front, just 12 metres out. He raises the flag, so we're all tied up. The red and the greens and the black and the gold. 6-all at the cricket ground.
Yeah.
"27 minutes gone. Welcome back to the Sydney Cricket Ground. One of the rare returns of rugby league to the great stadium. And 6 points all between two of the great clubs. Elias raked for the ball. Skiffaletti knocked on, but he's given a penalty. He's given a penalty for the marker putting his hand on the man playing the ball. Watch it. He pulled the man playing the ball forward, Elias. And I keep saying that it's something that is not enforced by referees. Neither should come in contact with each other. Let's go down to the sidelines and take a comment, particularly on the Balmain forwards, from Steve Roach.
Yeah, well, the Balmain forwards seem to like they're running into the ruck and turning around, trying to flop back. You can fall into that trap when you've got a good one in your side that can do it, and Johnny Elias is the best of that for the Tigers. But look, South Sydney are going to make some mistakes in this game, but they're coached to throw the football around. We see them run the ball on the last tackle there, and a try resulted in it.
It seems to be the way to go. Throw the ball about. Razzle-dazzle stuff. And Tyron Smith brought down. The Souths make a knock on of it. Matt Munro alert. Michael Neal providing his services. Edmed on again for Carroll. Brasher tries to do a weaving run that'll take him to the halfway almost. Ben Elias appealing at the back of the play the ball for a penalty. Darcy, another of the Jasons. Steve Edmed. And looking at that bandage, it wasn't his nose that provided the problem, but a gash apparently on the forehead. Brasher, quick hands. Michael Gillette did well. Michael Neal chimes in. Brasher is pulled down. 30 yards from the line. Robinson scurries out from dummy half. Good marker work by Jason Bell. Michael Neal draws the defence, throws the dummy, turns it back. Ben Elias drops it on the boot. Daryl Trindle goes in to clean up.
Well, have we got a knock on here? It looks as though Daryl Trindle, in attempting to pick up the ball bouncing, has knocked on. He's not happy with the decision. Looked like he was facing back towards his own goal line. There's the little kick through from Elias. Trindle comes across, and that's the knock on. You don't get a better attacking opportunity than this. Scrum, centre field, 20 metres between the backs, the forwards out of the way.
Michael Neal opts to come back left towards the member side. Robinson uses Brasher. Michael Neal in the play again, pulled down by Goldspink, who must have broken very quickly from the scrum. That's good work by him. Edmed throws a dummy. The ball goes loose. And the referee is giving the penalty for offside.
He's saying that Edmed passed the football and it's gone from a South player to another South player in front of him. So a piece of luck there for the Tigers. Now let's have a look at it. Well, it's knocked out there by Hermanson.
That's right. And he's ruled that David Penner was in front of Hermanson, who in fact deflected the ball from Edmed. So the Tigers get a penalty from close quarters.
Gee,
Wayne Pearce up in the stands.
Must have been very close, that, Ray. Like it was Edmed's holding the ball up.
Yeah.
A good shot there. Penner would have been unlucky to have been offside there.
I agree with what you saw. It's a similar angle, though, that we saw the Trindle knock on from, and I think that's got to be taken into account. We're back on the 20-metre line at the Randwick end. Burke! And he gets the penalty. So Balmain lead again. 8 points to 6 after 32.
Right, no, it is difficult to pick it up, and it'll be very difficult from this angle. Good defence there.
This might help you.
I don't even know that Hermanson actually knocked the ball clear. It just looked like the jolting tackle forced the ball clear.
Well, that's what he's ruled. The jolt from Hermanson has come in contact with the ball.
Yeah, the bottom line with a decision like that, it really hurts when you've come up with good defence and it's cost you 2 points. And they did get a good shot on Edmed there. And now 2 behind on the scoreboard with under 8 minutes to go.
Ciro. Edmed has come back and he's very pumped up. John Elias. Neil. Darcy. Right on the halfway. Michael Neil, he mightn't be the fastest number 7, but he's certainly got a high rate of involvement. Tremendously fit athlete. He probably doesn't look like an athlete, but he's tremendously fit. Via Taliai. Scored a try last weekend, apparently. Trindle. Goldspink. Right back on the halfway line. Doniger. The sloppiness in the play of the ball. That is David Penner. Field came from the left to work on the right. A planned move. Mellor's coming fast. Lions away from one. Field, though, came down the ground to make the tackle. Neil and the run around with Gillette. Across the ground, running away from forwards. Good work by Damien Ford. That's Michael Neil, this young winger out there on the right. He's done some nice things tonight. Munro and Sirenen. Brasher combined with Lyons, who's over the halfway line. Beats Goldspink. Now links with Robinson. He links with Brasher. The ball back for Ciro. And he's pulled down by Sinclair. Edmed. Last now. Neil goes to the air. Brasher was the anticipator. The ball comes down and across the line.
Well, another penalty here for inside the 10. You see the signal from Manson. That man there, Tim Brasher, is the best chaser of bombs in the league. And again,
well, he couldn't have penalised him. Of course he's onside.
I don't think he got Brasher. I think he got the number 6.
Robinson was onside as well.
Well, I'd be prepared to debate that and give the benefit to Manson. Brasher, though, I agree with you entirely. Doniger. Trindle standing in the back line a lot tonight.
He's coming up getting involved, and this is a crucial time in the match. Just over 4 minutes to go in the first half. Really a psychological time for both teams. A little bit of fatigue setting in. So many points scored in this danger zone. And that's Goldspink taking it 25 metres out. They can't score in the 5, they'll put the kick up. Try and score from the bomb.
Trindle. Well, while he does that, we've got Jason Bell to the right. Calling the ball wide, and Brasher goes up and shuts any thought of a try out of South Sydney's mind. Ben Elias.
Well, Bobby Simpson would be happy with this slips catch. It is the Sydney cricket ground. The left hand thrown out, great work. Skiffletti trying again to run it on the last tackle. More a pass of hope than of good execution.
Sirenen is down injured in the back play. Edmed has taken the play towards the halfway. John Elias. Michael Neil, support play is very good. Last tackle. Robinson. Trindle being kept busy at the back tonight. Electrifying runner of the ball is Darryl Trindle. He should enjoy fullback, really, because it's a position that gives you quite a bit of freedom in attack. Getting close to half-time. Let's take a comment from Steve Roach.
Yes, if we do watch Craig Field and Darryl Trindle, they both play at the halfback role when the South Sydney side have got the football. What they try and do is offload and then double around, try and get the ball back.
Taliai is able to brush away from a tackle. Now Tyron Smith. Field. South's come back again to threaten the Balmain line. There's a chance for Balmain. Touch judge has gone in.
He may claim that a South player was held out of it here. Can't think of any other reason he'd want to run in. South looked dangerous there when they threw the ball out wide. Once again, Balmain were caught napping. As far as numbers are concerned, a couple of their players raced up out of the line. Let's watch Tim Brasher out wide. He sprints up, creates the gap, and Brasher actually takes Trindle out of the play. So South's get an opportunity. Minute and a half before half-time. Here come the Bunnies.
20 metres out. Paul Mellor. Centre of the ground, Skiffaletti. He's not done any running from dummy half tonight. Goldspeaker's 15 out. Face ball for Tyron Smith. There they are. Skiffaletti. Sinclair. Ben Elias, knowing Sinclair's likelihood to flick it out the back, shuts the ball down. Field. It came off a Balmain player. He didn't play at the ball, though. Hermanson drops it onto the foot. Graham Lyons pulled down by Darryl Trindle. 30 seconds remaining in the half. 8-6 in favour of the Tigers. Tim Brasher. 18 metres out from the line. Darcy. Burke. Mistake by Burke in the play of the ball. It brings a scrum that won't have time to pack. It was the simplest of mistakes for Greg Burke to make. And there's the siren. Manson calls a halt. With at half-time, Balmain leading by 8 points to 6. Jason Bell scored the South try. Michael Gillette scored the Balmain try. The difference was a penalty for Balmain. They lead 8-6. Welcome back to the Sydney Cricket Ground. 8 points to 6 in favour of Balmain. They were the team conceded the start on footy tab. 7.5 to be precise. Mestrov now for South, getting it outside the 20-metre line. 2 tries in the game, 1 apiece. Michael Gillette finished off some good lead-up work for Balmain to score the first try. Doniger. Met and put down by the Balmain defence 40 metres out. And then the Jasons, Sinclair and Bell. They laid the second try together for Bell to score for South. Craig Field got himself into traffic when he tried to kick there. And Michael Neal now tries to get it on the attack for Balmain. Ben Elias, a big first half. That's Michael Gillette. A win tonight's imperative for both sides, really. It's competition in its eighth round. Brasher, like a will-o'-the-wisp. Robinson, yes! Robinson scores! Oh, Brasher. He's like Greaves lightning. And Will Robinson not far behind him. 12-6.
Great start to the second half of the Tigers. Bad missed tackle out here by Jason Sinclair. We wrapped him at half-time for his attacking play. Watch this attempt on Brasher. That's a shocker. And Brasher from there got inside a high tackle from Doniger. And Will Robinson backed up on the inside. Fine try to the Tigers.
Yes, you'll actually see that Will Robinson gets in between Tyron Smith, who was looking to make the tackle. And he ends up backing up, supporting and scoring the try. That's Brasher coming back inside. Great footwork. There's Robinson. He gets in the way of Tyron Smith. Reacts that little bit quicker. Smith did drop off for a touch there. Will Robinson does a great job. But what about Tim Brasher? He's an international. He's only a young player. He really is one of the leading lights for Balmain at such a young age.
Greg Burke, 2 out of 2 for the youngster. Probably the first time he's played on the Sydney cricket ground, and his kick is just wide. So, Balmain 12, South Sydney 6, second minute of the second half.
He'll be disappointed with that conversion attempt as well. 12-6, that one would have put them 8 points clear. They've had to score twice, South Sydney.
Well, let's go down to Steve Roach. We didn't get a chance to come to you, big fella, with your dressing room reports.
Yes, I went into the South room, exactly what Kenny Shine said. They're dropping off too many tackles. Don't allow the likes of Brasher to beat you with your feet, as they just did then. John Elias standing in tackles and offloading. Got to put them on the ground, put them on their backs. And he had a bit of a mention of the speed of the line. We've got to stop ball watching and go straight to the defender. They're standing up too much, offloading.
Ken Shine, the coach there, alongside Alan Jones. Damien Ford wears the number 5 for Balmain, and he's had a very acceptable night.
You're saying how important it is for these teams to have a win tonight, Ray. To make semi-finals, you've got to have runs of wins. You've got to string together 5, 6, 7 wins. Neither of these sides have been able to get any consistency in the first 7 rounds. It must start tonight. They must not only get the points tonight, but do so in the next month as well to really get back in contention. They're dropping off. Balmain, they've got the ascendancy now. They must go on with the job.
It was one year, I recall, South, I think, won 11 on the trot to make the semi-finals. And already they've reached those situations, or that situation, and Michael Neal grabs that right hip. Have a look at him. He doesn't look like a footballer, but I remember when Warren Ryan had Balmain.
Now this has been touched by a South player, according to the referee, and Balmain will get the feed here, 20 metres out from the South's line.
Yeah, just to finish that, Ryan considered him to be the fittest player in the club. Here he is now delivering for Robinson. And they go along the back line looking for Brasher, which they do. Neal a dummy half. Munro keeps up the wrap. And that's the 20-metre line, South's end. They come back now towards the members' side, the Brawongal side of the ground. And that's Darcy. A try here for Balmain, and that might be the end for South. Lions trying to get around. Oh, I think he's got it down. It's a try.
And Paul Mellor has underestimated his opposition here. He showed him the sideline, and Graham Lyons took it. Mellor thought that he wasn't going to have any problem in putting him over the sideline. He's got great speed, Graham Lyons. Elias did a good job. Brought Mellor in just that little bit. Looked like he had him covered, but Graham Lyons also very strong. Well, that's experience. Mellor's learned something there, and it's cost his side 4.
And Lyons took the odds to it, doesn't he? Not much room to work in there, and just put the foot down. Away he went. Former State of Origin winger, and Mellor's paid the price. Great try to the Tigers, and it's been a fantastic start for them in this second half.
Jubilation for Balmain and for Graham Lyons. He's been all over the place looking for permanent residency. Seems he's found it at Balmain. That corner post, that head-on shot was a beauty. It showed us without any question that it was Paul Mellor who took the corner post. Well, I was about to say, and I think I got the words out, a try here for Balmain. And that might be Tattars for Souths. Greg Burke from the sideline. 30 metres out. And there she goes. Looks good, doesn't it? It's a goal. It's a curler. Balmain with a converted try. 18-6 now, the Tigers. Welcome back. Troubles for South Sydney. That's what you come back to. This is almost R-rated if you're a South Sydney supporter, not to be viewed, because the scoreboard's not good for you. 18-6 down.
Well, you know about the R-raters, Ray.
Thanks. Ben Elias out and away.
It's a nice give up, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a nice give up.
I mean, it's true, but you shouldn't give him up like that.
Blocker, what's the story? What's the story on Seranen?
Yeah, I was so excited about giving my halftime talk about South Sydney. Paul Seranen, my good mate too. He's out with a bit of concussion. He should be back in about 15 minutes.
Thank you, mate. Talia. Jason Bell. Penner's had the ball ripped out. No question about it, a penalty.
That's what South Sydney needed, a chance to string together 2 sets of 6. Penner taken front on by lines, and why he's complaining about that, I will never ever know. The most clearest. Stop laughing, stop laughing. Well, it looked fairly obvious, didn't it?
Craig Field finding the line, 22 metres out, penalty 6-3 to South. Now the Rabbits have got to score. Obviously, they must be the team that scores next. Mellor plays it. Hermanson.
Ray, this is where Jason Bell needs to get involved. He's the guy that can do something in traffic.
Craig Field. That's Bell behind him. That's Bell. That is Bell. He's ringing it now. Jason Bell gets his second. Is that the involvement you were looking for, Coach?
Well, he didn't have much to do, did he? Put it down to Craig Field, that one. Great work by Craig Field, one-on-one here. Going to the defence, he's got great footwork. Gets outside Edmed through Will Robinson, and Jason Bell, well, he did a good job to be there in support. Carried Gillette over the line, and that's what the doctor ordered for South Sydney. They were in trouble. They're now back in this game.
That's what they needed, the little Rabbits. And the 2 littlest Rabbits on the field to put this on, this great try. It's got them back into the match. Bell and Field.
Second try of the night and second try of the season for Jason Bell. He hasn't given Craig Field the easiest assignment.
No, and Field not in the best form with the boot either. He's had 10 attempts this year. He's only kicked 4. 40% strike rate. Well, he's kicked 1 tonight. Yeah, that makes it 5 for 11. It's still about the same percentage. His kick this wide might cause a bit of problem.
Shane Wilson, the regular kicker, out of the side with injury, and he was having a good season, Shane. So was Mark McGaw. Now Craig, that looks good, that looks great. Ah, that's a beauty. The Rabbits with a converted try.
Well, that improves the percentage and obviously puts them within 6, so a very important kick. But he can do it all, can't he, Craig Field? Great ability to get the arm through there. He's not a big man, but like so many players in the modern game, their size belies their strength. And Craig Field gave a saloon passage to his 5'8".
Craig Field is a workaholic. I did notice you fellows talking about being workaholics. Oh! Trindle almost making a terrible mistake. In fact, it's pretty gruesome anyway.
Well, Bernard Carroll, I think, will be ruled to have knocked on here, the Balmain chaser, so it should be a South Sydney feed, which is a fortunate thing for them.
He's given it to South. This was what happened.
Well, it's unforgivable to let a ball bounce from a kickoff with so many players in the vicinity. And if Carroll just happened to get that one on the fly, it was a try.
Now, the headgear. Anthony Cabry is on for South. Doniger. Head-on tackle by Benjamin. To the blind for Hermanson. Like a Clydesdale, Terry Hermanson, he just keeps working. Cross for the kick to Hermanson. Now Michael Gillette scored the first try for Balmain.
The man going low there is another replacement player. That's 41, Brett Tronk. Scott Tronk, I'm sorry. Has he played State of Origin for Queensland?
Pretty sure he's been on the bench a couple of times still. A very experienced campaigner, been with Canterbury and West as Edmed goes wide.
To the 40-metre line.
So you mean he's been around long enough to get his first name right?
For most people.
John Elias. Robinson on a kick and chase mission. Trindle's put it down. Penalty goes to South Sydney.
Once again, I think Manson has got the Balmain players of being inside the 10 metres, and I think all those Balmain players were offside. So this has been a good decision by Manson. Although he did put them onside right at the death there, didn't he, Robinson?
Yeah, but the point is, Paul, if you're offside, you can't come inside the 10. Had he have gone past them and put them onside before the 10-metre radius was passed, that's okay.
I knew that.
Craig Field, 35 metres out from the line, finding it.
Inside the radius, the set square out there.
No, well, you know.
I know what you're saying, Ray.
The picture told the story. Manson was right.
The tide is starting to turn a little bit. South Sydney really been buoyed by that try from Jason Bell. 12 down. Things were looking pretty grim, but they've had a little bit of possession lately, and they're making some good yards. Tyron Smith there, no trouble in picking up 12 to 15.
18-12, Balmain leading. But as Peter said, the tide is starting to turn. Craig Field loses it. Fortuitous for Scott Tronk. Skiffaletti, there's no doubt that he's playing wounded. But I think they gained so much by his presence on the field. Trindle doing plenty of talking.
Yes, he's not the same player, is he, Dan Skiffaletti, as we've seen in past years with Illawarra. Normally darts out of dummy half, puts something on. Even early this season, he was doing that with South Sydney, but I don't know what the injury is, but he's definitely not himself.
I think the important thing, Paul, the fact that he is out there, if he wasn't, I would imagine Craig Field would go to dummy half, and that would really take a lot away from their attacking game.
Just wondering what effect it's having on his defence, Dean Skiffaletti, his tackle count. I'll just get it out for you. It's a show of guts, to put it bluntly, that he's out there. He's made 19, eh? Well, if he's got a tender shoulder or whatever it is, that's not a bad effort. John Elias. Wayne Pearce will be starting to get, I would think, to fingernail stage now.
The thing, as the game goes on too, Ray, the longer the match goes, the more chance there is of Ben Elias looking to get out of dummy half. That's been touched by a South player, so everybody is onside. Well picked up by Trindle. But Elias leading the charge is the man to watch. If the defence gets lazy, he will capitalise.
Keep in mind, this corresponding game at the cricket ground last year went right down to the wire. Balmain winning it by a point. A field goal was the difference, 19-18. Cabry picked up and driven into the ground. Craig Field. Now they've got the overlap. well by Greg Burke. Field, Trindle, Sinclair. Edmed let go with a shot that looked a bit high, but it was okay, according to Manson. This is the last. Trindle away from dummy half for Bell. He chips over the three-quarters. Gillette comes up. South are going to score. Terry Hermanson. Big Hermanson gets the try. The red and greens. They're back to 18-16.
Well, they're making a game of it now, aren't they? The mighty Rabbits. Hermanson scouting out wide. Has scored the try for Souths. Beautiful little chip here by Jason Bell, the man Sterlo talked about. He placed it perfectly there in between the two Balmain players, Gillette and Lyons, and Scott Tronk, the man on hand, to retrieve the footy, and over goes Big Hermanson.
Well, it's great work here by Jason Bell. No offence to Belly, but the kicking game has never been his strong suit, but that one was perfect. It found open spaces, as a rugby league ball can do. It bounced awkwardly straight into the hands of Scott Tronk, and he found a fellow forward in Hermanson there to pick up the crucial four-pointer again. Not an easy one for Field.
I'll tell you what, is there a more deserving player out there for South than to get a try? Terry Hermanson.
Well, he's been their best for a couple of weeks now, Ray. Was outstanding last week against Cronulla. And he's played well, really, ever since we've seen him from pre-season.
I had him in my dream team, Terry Hermanson. I think I got him for nothing. I think he was going for nothing. The big fella, I put him in the dream team, Fatty.
A freebie.
A freebie.
Well, the game's really come alive. We've seen 20 points scored in the opening 18 minutes of this second half.
Craig Field can equalise. He's 10 metres in, 20 out. Is he going to get it? No, it's just wide. Whoa. 18-16 then. Friday Night Football on the 9 Network. "59 minutes gone, Balmain 18, South 16. Is Wayne alive?" I use Ronnie's eyes moving.
Well, it must be so disappointing for Junior to see your side sneak away to an 18-6 lead and then squander it with some very poor defence.
Balmain linking hands. Come on, they're saying. Let's give each other a guarantee that we're going to take this one in. They were leading 18-6, it seems like just a minute ago. Now it's 18-16, and the Rabbits are powering home. Tronk and Smith combine. The youngster lofts it in field. Bell is there to take it. Mellor, Skiffaletti, Field, kicks over the top for himself, a chance. Sinclair kicks it ahead. Trouble back there for Gillette. Cut down by Penner.
Well, that's good to see from South. It worked for them once. Why not try it again? And the beauty of chip kicking against Balmain, a high tackle there from Cavery, is the fact that Michael Neal plays up in the line the majority of the time. This time the ball bounced for the Balmain side. Gillette able to clean up.
So back to it direct now. On the halfway line, Ben Elias. Cavery and 40. Jason Bell getting involved in this game. Michael Neal pushing the ball for John Elias. Matt Munro put away by Scott Tronk. Neal shaped to kick and then passed. Robinson's with a cutout pass, and Damien Ford's kick is a shocker. Not to worry, young fella. Only one blemish in the game. You've had a good one. Talii. Is that how you pronounce it, Stephen?
Vi Talii, yep.
Via Talii.
Paul Sirenen warming up here on the sideline. He should be back on. Look, Balmain got to a lead of 12 points by 12 points, and you can't afford to do that, go to sleep, when you've got a side like South Sydney with Craig Field and Trindle pulling all their tricks.
Jason Bell's having a big one for you too.
He certainly is. Jason Bell's been our best player this season.
Gee, that was interesting, that ruling from Manson. I thought that Skiffaletti knocked on. Now Trindle puts it down. That certainly is a knock on. Well, maybe justice has been done. I thought Schiffolini knocked on a dummy half and Manson said it came off the foot. Anyway, it's gone back to exactly the point of the play of the ball with the same result. Munro comes off, 26 goes on for Balmain.
That's Danny Stapleton in 26 for the Tigers. They win the scrum. Gillette, it's involved again. Good defence front on. That's Trindle.
Ben Elias kicking on an early tackle. It's been pre-arranged. Oh, Breaker! That's magical stuff! That is magical stuff!
Well, that's incredible play by Balmain. Two of the experienced players in their side. Brasher gives the big signal to Benny Elias. Sensational play.
Well, it was great work here as we freeze play there. That's the play, the ball. That man... Well, hang on, let's get close to this. That man picks up and kicks because he knows that the marker is the fullback. Ben Elias, no one at home because the marker was the fullback. They took him out of play from the scrum win. And that's a planned move.
And what about the nice one-handed rake in there by Brasher, the great hands that he does have. And some great play. I mean, they saw Trindle wasn't there. And why not take the odds to it? It was only the second or third tackle, didn't matter.
Well, Fatty, it wasn't that, it was first tackle. It was the scrum win. Trindle's up in the line. They've taken him out, so nobody is at home, nobody reacted to it.
Greg Burke converts from right in front. 24-16. 63rd minute. Have a look at it again.
Maybe this has been a set play by Wayne Pearce. He's pulled one out, take the fullback out, then put the kick in. And the South winger's just a little slow to react.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I don't think anybody chases that well without knowing. They can't react that quickly. Brasher, he was on the fly. He knew what was happening.
Nearly got a smile out of Junior there.
There used to be a permanent smile etched on that face. Damien Ford. Yeah, see, the South Sydney fullback had to mark up. He had to mark up in a defensive situation.
Well, when he does that, obviously someone else's job to drop back, possibly the halfback, maybe Field or the wingers, and it wasn't done.
Penalty to Balmain. That's against, I believe, the South Sydney marker. Let's have a look at this.
Well, I can't see any reason there why a South play would have been penalised. I thought it was a very sloppy and poor play of the ball, and the penalty could quite easily have gone to South Sydney.
So we're right on the halfway line, and we're more than 3/4 of the way through the game. Carroll. They might be down at the bottom of the table, these two clubs, but they know how to turn on some excitement at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 24 points to 16 in favour of Balmain. Crowd today or tonight, upwards of 18,000. 18,719. John Elias grinding through. Elias using Robinson. Cabry forced to make the tackle. The last. Inside the 30. And a penalty, is it? No, it's a knock on.
I think you'll find the man playing the ball just lost the ball cold and trying to get up and get a quick play of the ball going. It's Will Robinson. And out she's come.
He's playing a lot better tonight, Will Robinson, with his running game. He's got it intact, and the way he's drifted across the field and set up the play for his outside backs has been very good for the Tigers tonight. As Trindle scoots clear, nearly.
Worked off a good pass from Paul Mellor. Penner provides it for Bell. Short ball for Sinclair. Good man to run off. Penner's there. Penner looks for support. Finds it. Schiffolini. 25 out from the line.
Big numbers to the right.
6 more tackles. Field for Sinclair. Gently, gently is the order for South. They've got another 5 tackles. Trindle tackled now. Close to the line. Hermanson looks for his second and he's held up.
Well, that's great defence, but I do think South butchered a try in the previous play. Sinclair should have let the ball go. Fortunately, with the new rule, or relatively new rule, they will get the scrum feed. Hermanson denied there. Good work by Graham Lyons, a far winger, but look at the numbers out there.
The 47-man overlap. Have a look at this. There's 100 of them out there, and he didn't pass it.
Looked like a Comanche scouting party. So South, they've got a great chance. Craig Field, like a bouncing ball, but they've lost it. Oh boy, a golden opportunity, but
Penalty.
they get the penalty. Schiffoletti taking the tap. Oh, diving take by Trindle. Bell runs the angle. And that's the 10-metre line in front of him. Mellor. Tronk. Cuts out Cabry. Hermanson. There's another go. Into touch.
And Graham Lyons again, big tackle. Was involved in the Terry Hermanson tackle when he got over the line but couldn't force the ball, and he comes up with a beauty here. Had no room to work in Hermanson, but Lyons did a good job.
Gee, there was a big play, you know, the ruck before when Field nearly went through, but Brasher ankle tapped him. And that saved a certain try.
That Terry Hermanson, he's never seen so many try-scoring opportunities. 40 metres out from the Balmain line now. 11.5 minutes to go. And 24-16 in favour of the Tigers. 68 minutes. Through Robinson for Neil. Then the run around and they go back the other way. 26 is Stapleton. Neil. Number 40 for the Tigers is Carroll. They're just outside, inside the 30 now. Steve Edmed wants a runner, finds somebody. I was about to call him Burke.
I think it was Morvan Edwards.
Yep.
Morvan Edwards is on. Thank you, Paul. 23 is Darcy. Ben Elias. Benny Elias is a metre from the line. The last. What will they do? Roll it into the in goal. It's a very deep in goal at the cricket ground. And there's Michael Neal going for that play. But Daryl Trindle comes away. 15 away from the line. Souths have got the time. Goldspin goes on. 10 minutes left in the game. Admittedly, they're trailing by 8, so they've got to score twice. Bigger miracles have happened in the game. Craig Field in, out, and away! Craig Field over the halfway. Inside ball. David Penner. David Penner. He'll score. Yes. Penner gets the try that we're talking about. 24-20 and 10 minutes to go.
Oh, and once again, Craig Field, will-o'-the-wisp. Look at him go here. Lots of speed and pace. Steps through some very ordinary Balmain defence there. Through the big forward. That's the way to go. Mick Neal missed him as well. And for me, still plenty of work to do. Penner's a mile back, but he comes on the inside. And look at this man go. Puts it down, away he goes.
That's great acceleration, isn't it? It was the 26 coming across in Danny Stapleton. I think that Penner realised that it was a forward and that he would have the pace. But it was nice to see him take the initiative. He didn't look for any support players. Thought, I can do this myself. And really put his ability on the line there. Great work from Craig Field. He does position his support players so well, Craig Field. David Penner, ex-Parramatta boy, who really has found a niche for himself at South Sydney. Gets a try that gets the side back in touch.
Isn't he a wonderful little player, this fella? He converts the try that he laid on. 71 minutes, 24-22. This is what he did, the South's number 7.
It's great awareness, Ray. He's looking to link up. He was coming across to his winger, but he found that David Penner had backed up on the inside. And even though he's being flung around in a tackle, he was still able to get the perfect ball away. Oh, no smiles there. That's got to be the toughest job in the world.
All the lip readers out there having a ball.
Anyway. The crowd, they're enjoying it more than Wayne Pearce at the moment. Another cliffhanger between these two foundation clubs. Cabery, straight ahead. 18 out from his line. They've got to do it again. Sinclair. Hermanson, was it? No, it's Scott Tronk. South players, they're putting their hands up. My ball. Jones just getting out of his seat for a moment. Doniger. Field. He's at it again. Graham Lyon saves for the Tigers. Gillette. Morven Edwards. Read very well by Talia. Ford. (24-22) in front of 18,350. Ben Elias put his head down and burrowed through. Serenan, Edmed, winding up. Steve Edmed on the last. Ben Elias, and it's out on the full. So it's the turnover. South, they come up with the ball, 35 out from their own line. A shocking pass. Doniger. 5 3/4 minutes to go. Cabery. They're on the 40-metre line. Scivoletti for Trindle. Trindle back to the blind, running into traffic. Black and gold jumpers everywhere. Scivoletti. Bell is trailing on the inside. Now they're 35 metres out from the line. Trindle on. Bell away. Floats it out. Mellor on Lyons, and Lyons.
Gee, that was a good tackle. One-on-one. He had to make it.
Bell. 41 is Tronk. Field. Field gets in behind them. Then away for Goldspink. Then for Bell. Bell gets it on for Mellor. There's the try. The Rabbits have come out of the grave. They were down 18-6. They lead now 26-24.
And Paul Miller scores in the corner. Once again, it's Craig Field. What a game he's had. He's the one who instigated. Nice ball there from Tronk. And Field gets through a couple of big forwards once again. Looks around, holds the pass up. And Goldspink, great hands from him. And Jason Bell draws, passes and try.
Well, the 9-2 scoreline last Friday night between Norths and St George was an entertaining game. But this one has had everything, and it's had plenty of points. And why not? You've got forwards and backs combining here. Goldspink through the pass to Bell. Bell to Mellor. Just looking to keep the ball alive at all costs. They've come the length of the field again. It started with a bad pass that Doniger picked up on the first tackle. And 5 later, that man there has scored in the corner to maybe wrap up what would be a remarkable victory for the Rabbitohs tonight.
2 more contrasting games. I think we know how you feel, Junior. 2 more contrasting games you wouldn't have seen back-to-back on Friday night football. Saints and Norths last Friday.
Well, Balmain have had the game won at least 4 or 5 times with the Rabbits. They will not lay down.
Craig Field, he's got a Channel 9 camera coming over his right shoulder, so we can't possibly give you a better idea of the angle. David Manson, a lather of perspiration. Craig Field from the sideline. Not this time. 26-24. 77 minutes gone. Well, Scott Tronk showed a little bit of rugby league skill I didn't know he possessed. It looked like he was going to kick. They were a bit lucky there, South's Goldspink. If he runs into the referee, he would have been obligated to stop the game and put a scrum down.
Well, with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go, the only important thing for South Sydney now is possession. They don't have to worry about scoring points. If they've got the football, they can't get beaten. They just have to work an intelligent set of 6, make good yards so that the kick picks up good field position, and then defend for almost the last 6 tackles of the game.
Goldspink. Been some outstanding players for both sides tonight, and of course we reward them with the $1,000 Ansett Man of the Match. One of the world's great airlines, part of our rugby league coverage on a Friday night. 5 tackles gone. Now they need the deep kick, and he's put it out on the full. Oh, Trindle has gone for too much unnecessarily. Still, the timepiece is on his side.
It's a penalty.
Balmain gets another chance.
Well, what do? You trail by 2. It's within kicking distance. They're going for the win.
Ben Elias finding the line. 20 metres out. 26-24. 1 minute and 25 seconds to go. Sheridan to Blair. 15 out from the line. Michael Neal. Will Robinson. And Michael Gillette throwing himself at the defence. Just outside the 10-metre line. Ben Elias away. Michael Neal comes in from the back. Neal is 8 metres out from the line. 1 minute exactly to go. Ben Elias, long pass. Will Robinson across. And Balmain again 8 metres out from the line. Here they go to the blind side. Paul Sheridan gets the pass away. It's with Stapleton. He's tackled 3 metres out. This is the last tackle. Ben Elias, it's away for Robinson. He puts the kick up. South Sydney goes across, and they rake it over the in-touch in goal. Let's see what he rules here. 20-metre place kick, and that's gonna be the ball game.
Well, Marvin Edwards nearly had the ball in his hands. It was a great kick from Will Robinson. Edwards in 14, flies high. Trindle playing tennis, gets the ball away. All right, volleyball, any one of those sports. But it won't make any difference now.
David Penner takes the last tackle, or the second last to be precise. And look at South Sydney. They can't believe it. They've come from 18-6 down to win 26-24. Disappointment for Balmain. Exuberance for Souths. They knew that today they had to win. Jason Bell got 2 tries. Hermanson, Penner and Mellor got tries. And for Balmain, Gillette, Robinson, Lyons and Brasher scored their tries. So 26-24, the final scoreline. South Sydney defeating Balmain.
Well, the Ansett Australia Airlines Man of the Match, Craig Field, $1,000. Don't come any tougher than that one.
No, that was a really hard game, probably our hardest all year. You know, they really come out firing, and we made a few mistakes in early, but you know, the side we are, we throw the ball around and we got home. The same scoreline, only 2 points in it as last year. Always tough game, Balmain and South Sydney. Oh, mate, for years, you know, it's always been a tough one, you know, Balmain South. You know, Balmain are a really good side, you know, they've had a not a very good start to the year, but they're a very good side, you know. Things haven't gone their way.
Did you think you were gone when they got 12 points ahead early in the second half?
Yeah, you know, we were pretty worried, you know, and then, you know, a couple of breaks went our way and we made a few breaks and then we scored a few tries, which is good.
Well, I know you'll enjoy the 1,000, mate. Good on you.
Thanks very much. Thanks a lot, Ansett.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports in partnership with the National Rugby League.